Hello, everybody. Hello.
You alright?
How are you?
Doing fine, can't complain. Yourself?
Good. How have you been with
With the whole COVID-19 situation.
COVID-19, Black Lives Matter,
What else are we missing? The statues as well.
statues?
Got other thing, Boris Johnson. There's
Yeah,
just like a
Boris
whole mess.
Johnson.
So for myself, not too bad. Other people might be a bit more difficult. A lot to take in, a lot to process and whatnot.
Yeah.
So for me, short answer, I think it's been better. It's now yourself as well.
Yeah, I've been okay. I feel like it's just been a whole lot of drama, and I'm just processing everything. But yeah, I'm not too overwhelmed. Like people are really overwhelmed at the moment, but
Yeah.
I'm fine.
You guys kind of take things like a day by day kind of basis,
Yeah.
right? So you're gonna be like, whatever happens one day, you kind of like think of your thoughts, your emotions, and your perceptions, and then you move on the next day. And
Yep.
you take everything as a chunk. You're just gonna do a Windows 95 and shut down. You're like, it's not gonna work like that.
And a lot of people probably shutting down at the
Yeah.
moment. So
Especially being stuck at home.
yeah. What's it like? Are you going to work at the? Are you still working at the moment?
I'm working like from home at the moment, so like they provide me a laptop and everything, so which is fine.
Yeah.
But since everyone's working from home, so I get like loads of emails, and hopefully my working seeing this, but like I start shutting down as well.
Oh.
Like 3 p.m. Yeah, like I think so, let me take a quick nap. My head hurts.
And then you wake up
Like,
at 7.
It's 7 p.m. man. You think to myself, oh shit, I've got 20 emails in inbox.
Oh God! As long as there's no phone call, then you're fine.
Yeah,
right?
there's no phone call.
Yeah,
Fine, because
yeah.
everyone would just send an email and they forget about it.
Yeah.
But obviously I gotta deal with that when I get to Monday.
Oh God! Like yeah, working from home isn't too bad. I don't mind it. I feel like I'm more productive because I can do things in my own time.
Yeah,
So
cook.
yeah.
Maybe if you've got time like to go out and exercise. Maybe if you've got time to like make lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
Like, all that's good. The only thing is, it's like if you've got siblings, sometimes they might try and like knock on your door and stuff like that. If you're on a phone call, they'll be trying to say like, oh, what do you want to eat and stuff like that. God forbid, like you're in a Zoom session as well, and they just open the door, so your colleagues just see like your little sister just walk in, and you're like,
Awkward.
yeah, awkward.
That's like the guy that was being interviewed on the news and his little baby came in. And his wife like came in as well to try to grab the
Oh
baby.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do them tricks in a Zoom background. Where you just like record yourself like walking in, and then like you put that as the background.
Some people like have a picture of themselves. I don't know if you clocked this, Ben, but there's this woman, I can't really say her name. She's like a pastor's wife as well. But one day she put a picture of herself just like that, but she wasn't actually there. You know, in the background.
Yeah,
Yeah, I clocked it because it wasn't moving. It looks like it froze, and then she came back. Like she actually turned her video on, and she was moved. I can't explain
I know exactly.
And then I knew, oh yeah, like the background. It was just the background.
Them tricks that they do on colleagues, and they just be so surprised. They're like, wait,
Yeah.
wow, chick?
Yeah,
How the hell you did this?
it's interesting.
Speaking of Black Lives Matter, are you gonna go to the protest today, or did you
No, I haven't been.
It's
to
been cancelled,
any.
hasn't it?
Yeah,
It's been cancelled?
I thought they
Today's-
said that no one go because of the EDL. Yeah, they were gonna go and start a fight.
Said he put like a video out and said like he's not gonna.
He said he won't be there, but his EDL people would be there. And you know that these people are like hooligans. They're going to pick a fight. And I don't think that people should go because we don't want to fight people. We just want to get our points across, not through violence. So they're going to try to, my friend told me one of the protests, like they boxed them in for 4 hours.
Sudan with the Federales.
Yeah, they boxed them in. They didn't let them go out. It's like, are you trying to get a reaction? Is it because you didn't make any arrests?
Wait, what?
But
Well, police boxed them in.
for 4 hours.
In the UK, like London.
In the UK, London, one of the London protests. So that's just
Well, like if you try to, if you try to walk past,
like no one could leave. They was like they boxed them in into one area. Like like when you go to Notting Hill Carnival and there's no exit. Like everywhere is blocks. Like they boxed them in. Like no one was allowed to leave that
Was that in
area.
Parliament Square as well?
I don't even know where she went, but she said that it was annoying.
Crazy that they're doing that as well.
Yeah.
And even more mad that like obviously Tommy Robinson ain't coming as well, but like his goons are gonna be there.
They're gonna
That's,
be
like, the
there,
right word to describe
for
it.
sure.
And obviously trying to gauge a reaction, and like as he said, like it's all gonna be kind of nuts. So hopefully, like all the protests before, like I think they were good as well. Like they were definitely got the message across. To let the government know, key figures in like Boris Johnson's cabinet, they probably got the message now, but whether they're gonna act on it or something is like another whole question and stuff like that. But I'm glad that we kind of like us as like black people, but not even just black, like African, Caribbean, and whatnot, kind of like all band together, organize ourselves, and even kind of like
Do you think that we are bound together? Okay. Do you think that before I even
Controversial take.
Yeah, before we even go in, like just in case people don't really know what's going on, like if we can just explain what's currently happening in the world, like why people are protesting. Yeah,
so like obviously one of the things that's happened in the world, especially like it's George Floyd's death, and obviously the police officer, I believe Derek, I can't say his last name, but Chauvin, the one from Minnesota himself. He's the one that actually kneeled on his George Floyd's neck for like around about 8.5 minutes. That led a whole controversial spark all around the world. It's lit up protests within like America, all the states in America, from New York, Atlanta, Texas, the UK, France, Germany, Belgium, even Korea as well, Japan, and stuff like that, going as far as Asia, and even countries like Syria, where they have their own, protests and battles to fight, and even not Hong Kong side, they've got their own stuff to do, but that has started off like what we've probably gone through, like a week of history being changed within our eyes, like right before our eyes, from TV, media reporting, whether it's the controversial side of what's happening, like such as maybe they're saying that it's violent, but they don't have any reasons to know why this has caused and this has happened, but obviously now we're here now. And it's kind of like, I'm not going to say slow down, but it's kind of like reorganize itself a bit more, taking on like what kind of goals they want. We've got the whole motives like of defund the police. That's a very good one. Being able to take away the money from their budget and place it into other things, maybe such as like education. And maybe not like actually having police officers kind of like complete, this is more so America, but complete like their kind of a more higher qualification rather than 6 weeks
of training.
6 weeks of training.
That was mad. I saw that. I was like, what the heck?
Like, can you actually believe that? Again, give yourself a badge, a gun after 6 weeks of training. There are people that run for a marathon do longer training than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? That's how fucked up it is.
That's mad.
And they just say like, look, man, just protect the law.
Sorry, the whole defund the police though, what do you feel about that? Because I mean, people would argue that because at the end of the day, when something bad happens to you, the first person you are going to call is the police. And if there are less police officers, then would there not be more crime?
But with the defund the police, I think like one of the main things that I saw was actually this American woman when she was speaking about it. So again, I can't really relate too much when it comes into like the UK side. But defund the police is just like, instead of having the whole, district of like police officers, and they're called for like domestic violence or abuse or crime, theft, everything that happens in the community and business sides, you kind of like be able to split up different sections into like different people. So like maybe if it's domestic violence between like a husband and wife or a partner and partner, you don't call the police to come. You call like maybe a social worker. You call maybe someone that's got like more relevance into that section rather than the actual police. So being able to defund the police itself and not put into like the whole budget to like just the whole police itself, it's just like a reorganization of the structure of what we know as the police. Have like better people and better sections assigned to like relevant crimes and and things that actually there needs to be sorted out in society. So you wouldn't call like the police like if your dog goes lost or anything, would you? But like, and it's that kind of sense that you call the police for maybe a serious crime. Like, how like someone is murdered or someone's killed, a detective comes along, not just a regular officer. Maybe a regular officer would like seclude the area, but that's about it until the detective comes.
That's true, actually.
I agree. I just wanted to make sure because which is something we were talking about. A lot of people obviously just in recent times just say things that obviously everyone else is saying, just to defund the police, but not a lot of people actually know why they're doing that. It's just defund the police, F the police, F12. But then when you get in trouble, the first people are gonna call is the police. But like you said, and I agree, it's more. The initiative was more so to specialize things. You get what I'm saying? Just like in a hospital, if you're having like a heart surgery, you don't call a pediatrician. You know what I'm saying?
GP to
You know what I'm
come
saying?
there.
Imagine.
You know what
What's the
I'm
use of a
saying?
GP, please? Can someone
Because
explain?
what happens is, like you said, and you're right, a domestic issue with husband and wife gets escalated because police are coming there with obviously. When if I see a gun, bro, like I'm not this, my head is not going to be the same. Like if I see police as now being, the embodiment of, kind of like, well, policing. So for lack of a better word. So it's like you end up escalating the situation more than you did escalating, like you're de-escalating it. So of course, like you said, if it's a case by which, someone who is more specialized in that field is being put, and maybe you could send maybe one officer just in case things do get out of hand. Then of course, you get what I'm saying,
To just
they're able
enforce or to just act
like not even just them to be in the background. If things get escalated and things go left, then they could step in and then help out. But they shouldn't be the leading force in things. And like you said, so
in everything.
you get what I'm saying. So I agree. The question I asked was more so just because, like we're talking about, literally a lot of people just in today's world, especially recently, just repeat what other people are saying without actually
really looking into
knowing
things and stuff like
what
that,
why the people are saying so, or defunding police. I'm sure if you ask 10 people why, what was it, they'll be like, because police, innit?
Yeah, because we don't want them to buy
You know what
guns,
I'm
or we
saying?
don't want them to.
I would not be surprised if only 2 out of 10 of those people actually know the initiative behind defunding the police. But yeah.
Well, one of the things that's interesting as well is like, when it comes into like people, so like maybe we say more of the UK and the US, and even maybe like some other European countries. A lot of people probably wouldn't say like the first one, like to say, especially like our generation, wouldn't be like the first one like to go to the police, because most of the times it's just that they bring more so trouble than they actually come into like solving the situation. Like Ben says, like they escalate it more than they de-escalate it, and that's true. Like whether it doesn't even depend on what countries are obviously especially like black people be living in as well. An example is just that you probably only call them really and truly when it's like you yourself as a business, and maybe someone comes in and they like rob your shop or whatnot.
But do they even bring justice? They rarely bring justice.
And I could say
Rarely.
that firsthand. I could say that firsthand. We've been threatened, robbed so many, well, not so many times, but at least we've been threatened in one occasion. And the funniest thing, that's when I understood that yes, there is such a thing as, I don't want to call it social injustice, but kind of like typification in police treatment.
Of course.
My boss called the police. So quick story. So basically, we had these people who bought something, and it's been like a year old. So they're out of the the warranty period anyway, and they bought and they won a refund, and we're like, well, that's not going to happen. The best thing we could do is to like look at and see what we could maybe repair it or replace it, and they escalated the situation from that. Went crazy, and I called my boss. He came. They were threatening to kill my boss, tell him to get out of his car, and banging out his car, tell him to get out of his car. They're gonna kill him. 3 white men, banging out his thing. Get out of the car. He stayed in the car. He called the police. Calls the police. The police gets there, and they walk straight to the white people and ask them, like, what's it called? What is going on? And he's like, well, hold on.
I called you.
You know what I mean?
And they told him, shh.
They told you to shush.
They told my boss.
In that moment,
and then he just went off, and then it's like, why are you shouting, why are you being aggressive? And you're like, what do you mean?
Oh my god!
You get what I'm saying?
Like,
so that also just made him crazy, and he just started screaming, and it's like, how is this? And then another time we've been robbed. Called the police and we'll look into it. It's been 2 years. We haven't heard anything. So
they haven't even got back to you there.
No,
they don't. They
don't.
don't. People just don't think what's the point. Like to the point that people, like you said, nobody really goes to the police anymore. Like everyone's losing trust in them because they rarely bring justice. That's number one. Number two, to the point that a lot of people now do what they call insurance jobs, where they lie that someone broke into their house, or they lie that what's it called? That there's like a
Fire,
fire
yeah.
or
Anything for
someone
the bag.
robbed their work or they lost stuff in their office. If you don't have a CCTV, the insurance company will only basically rely on the police report. So you can go and report anything to the police. People know they won't look into it.
Yeah, of
And then they get money from their insurance.
Easy. It's easy, literally easy cash coming in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the one of the two uses for the police. that's all we're gonna say.
That's true.
The worst thing about it is just like, I swear, like in any other country, especially like even in France and stuff, you know, like French, especially Paris, the city as well, they got like a very high cultural of people there. So not only just like Moroccans, people of religious race of Muslim, sorry, Islam is the way we're saying it, black people, white people, and a few other like nationalities there. I can't think of the top of my head. But like, you know, they're so tight knit together, even if there's like internal like maybe conflict with the people in Paris. But if one of their own gets killed by the police and stuff like that, and which has happened many times before, that's why they riot a lot of times, and they're good at it as well. So when one of the people get killed like that, you see the whole city come against the police, and then the French police worse than the UK, 100%. Obviously, UK is still bad, but like maybe just a bit under than like American police, because I'm not really too sure about the gun controls in France. I mean, you see a couple of videos on French Twitter, you know what I mean?
And they're very racist as well.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I know it's racist just obviously to like black people, but even to all the other races. And that's one of the things, is the system itself. And the system is affluent from whether, sorry, not affluent, universal language from whether if it's Europe or America or even Asia and stuff like that. So yeah, like they're so violent, like to the people that's there.
Oh my god,
and it's crazy. Like the videos that you see are actually really nuts.
That actually doesn't. I don't really see those videos.
Yeah, you have to probably be deep in it, because like, I'll see like a couple like French tweets here and there and stuff like that, because they got the same kind of mindset like us, like UK Twitter. The funny thing is, you know what they call UK Twitter?
What?
Top boy Twitter.
Oh my god.
I was laughing so hard when I
Oh
saw
my
that.
god! So now, how many Twitter
like there's a lot.
communities have you broken into?
I haven't broken into French Twitter. I've only just seen it like, if something, you know how you can use Twitter like Google search. So like
Basically, yeah.
So if you type in a keyword and they'll come up with like a whole bunch of stuff, and some of them will just relate to the French Twitter, innit? So like I've seen that. I've seen the UK Twitter, and obviously American Twitter. We're always exposed to American Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's really about it. Anything else, I think you're going way too much. I saw Scottish Twitter one time. I said, listen, I ain't ever going to go back into it.
Are you
again.
joking?
Yeah. I was trying to, like, no offense to that, I was trying to read the words, and I was like,
Yeah.
I see words on the screen, but they're not
type
making sense.
Yeah, they've got their different lingo.
And I know, like, this are meant to be English as well.
That's true.
Like, you know what I mean? And you think to yourself, like, how you talk like this? It must be impossible.
It's so different.
But I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like the luck as people in UK, black people in the UK, we're so lucky that the ordinary police people don't carry guns.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Oh my god.
But it's still just as bad because they got the flipping what's that shit called again?
The
Baton.
stick.
Tasers.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
the stick.
yeah.
You know, seen the video of like the black guy that got
In the
what's it
gym,
called?
yeah.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah. There was even the other one that came out recent as well, like the one that was by the petrol station, and the federale came and took the son. You don't know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah, and the son was crying.
Yeah, he was crying out for his dad.
Oh my
and-
god, trauma.
Man.
Like, I wanted to ask a question as well. You know how you're talking about the injustice against black people in France as well. Who do you think this movement is for? Like, who do you think that we're representing? Is it black people in the West? Is it black people in the UK and America? Is it black people all over the world? What about the black people in Africa? So who are we representing?
Well, for me personally, and this is one thing I wanted to even explain to like people that's been watching the movement and they haven't kind of like put their thoughts into order or come to like a conclusion of things.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna say now, it's not like obviously what I want, maybe those who are watching to have the same thought about me, but if you put one and one together, you'll probably come to the same conclusion as me and everyone else in this room as well. So this whole movement itself, the first forefront is obviously Black Lives Matter. That's the first thing. And it's not just obviously for the UK and America, it's everyone as a collective. But when you actually look into things a bit more deeper, so you start looking at things of like how the police enforces government rules and rules coming from the top elite, and they don't only just have to be in the government, they can be like top CEO of businesses, because the whole elitism thing is let's say like this, it's mainly who are the richest people in this world, mainly like what skin or race color and stuff like that. Like They we might have to cut that one out. No anti-Semitic.
Okay, I'm scared now, please. I'm not hearing. It's just a fact.
Her
though.
name
Jewish,
is,
Jewish,
her full
Jewish.
government
Jewish.
name is. But
No, please. Don't put my address.
No, you're so true, but like it's just when they're so touchy about
We just
it,
need to
bro.
Very
bleep it
touchy.
out, please. I
Yeah.
beg you. But okay, let's just say not.
nah, carry on. Let's carry on. I'll believe.
Let's just say
Go.
Middle Eastern part of the world.
Oh yeah, they're one of the richest because like obviously they've got like the oils and stuff, and they sell that to America. They'll be able to change like the oil prices and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like obviously all that the government officials are from like let's take another sense in it. Like when we think of Western countries, this is a good approach. When we think of Western countries, first world countries, what are the countries that we think of first? We always think of like
Britain, Great Britain, America,
France, Germany, Belgium, but you don't think of Mexico, even though it's North America, isn't
That's
it?
true.
Canada, you think of that. And what do all these countries have in common?
The whites.
Exactly. The old man by white people, Caucasian people. That's the majority of it. Now, in those countries, the minorities are always like Hispanic, Black, Asians, and they always reach no more than 30%. I think in America, like there's more Hispanic people than there are Black people. I can't give you the actual
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I which makes sense because they're very close. Like
Yeah.
they're in the same continent basically, or like close to each other.
Neighboring countries and everything.
Yeah,
as well.
so it makes sense.
Exactly. So coming from that as well, that's why all like a lot of like, the companies that are obviously quite big itself from anything that headquarters in America, like Amazon, or like maybe like Walmart, or maybe like just anything that's been making big revenue. And obviously the government are all Caucasian as well. So they're part of like this thing called like elitism. Now this is where it gets interesting. It's that, again, like Black Lives Matter is the forefront obviously of showing that Black lives are being killed by police. But there's a bigger pitch to it. It's the systematic racism. It's a systematic discrimination as well against all of its people. So if you take away Black people, Hispanic, Asian in UK, France, America, do you think every Caucasian person, white person, is going to be friendly with every white person? Because the issue of classism exists.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about to say. Like racism, honestly, is a distraction. It's genuinely. I'm not even being funny. In the Western world, especially, it is a distraction because the more time we spend fighting each other based on race, the less time we spend thinking, wait, how comes a $1 billion company gets away with paying me £8.24 per hour
and
as
avoid
minimum
tax
wage,
as
or
well.
and avoid tax and avoid tax and get away with mistreating his employees and all this. How
You think
comes,
Jeff
you know what I'm
Bezos can
saying?
be that rich without doing some shady shit?
He's shady for
So
sure.
that's 100% agree.
Allegedly.
That's why this whole like this allegedly. You have to put that.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Hey, Jeff, if I order something from Amazon, don't cancel my order.
But no, I agree. It is 100%. What's it called? It is 100% like distraction.
Yeah.
It is what it is because yes, of course, racism exists and all that. But if we actually go back to the root and what's it called of when it started. From one of the stories about how racism started in America, I don't know if this is what's got factual or not, but one of the stories I was reading was that back in the day during slavery time, there were white people who were broke. They were just literally downright broke. Some people they volunteered themselves to work in plantations, as well, not slaves, but they more or less had the same working conditions. Obviously a bit different, but more or less having to bust their ass and get things done.
Yeah.
And at some point, the black slaves and the white, workers were like, "Yo, the masters are treating us like shit." You get what I'm saying? Like it's mad. Like this is inhumane. Maybe we need to band together and overthrow them basically. And obviously, the white masters understood what was going on. So what they did was then say to the white workers, like, "Look, if you work hard enough, you could leave here and buy land," because obviously back in the day, land was like gold. It was like it was the next thing down from money. It was literally gold. It was from land. You could get wealth. You could get older, and
Set up your future generations.
so example. So if you work hard enough, you could actually get land. You could actually survive on. But these people, they're animals. You know what I'm saying? They could never amount to anything. So don't look at each other as the same because you're actually better than them. So now that then created division in the white workers and the black slaves. So that's why you will see, even in today's world, a someone who is a white person who is broke, who is like, imagine the white trash would have the nerve to call someone like LeBron James a nigger.
Or
Because
think that they're superior.
you get what I'm
That's
saying? That's the
basically
point,
what
yeah.
the story I was telling you guys before we started this.
Exactly, like because they feel like they are better at the end of the day, even though, even in every sense of the word, someone like LeBron James is better than. You get what I'm saying? So is that whole thing that was created? So it was racism. If you look, if that I read that story, I'm not gonna try and say that was bored. If that story is fact, then you will see that racism was created as a distraction for classism.
Literally.
You get what I'm saying?
Because the whole thing about, like, exactly what you said, it can even relate it in terms of, like, obviously South Africa, the South Africans as well, especially like that, because there's a lot of South Africans that, the ones that actually had the money and the businesses, they left South Africa a long time.
You see a lot of South Africans in the UK now.
Yeah. But the white one, the counterparts.
Yeah, the white ones.
They're still in the South Africa. I said the wrong word, innit? South Africa, but like now they obviously live in poverty as well, alongside maybe some of the actual, obviously the black South Africans as well. So again, like going on from Ben's point, it's just like the whole thing about elitism. It's just that, like, it's being able to divide us as well. Well, we're not against each other. Like, I have plenty of like Caucasian friends as well as plenty of black friends as well. So even like maybe like my Caucasian friends, white friends, they will probably, I knew the majority of them like from secondary school, and like, so since this whole thing going on, some of them have actually like messaged me and stuff like that. But obviously, it's not. I don't. It's nice that you message me, but like more time is that.
I'm not a charity case, bro. Like,
It's out of pity.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's
what I mean. Like, I don't want you necessarily. It's nice. It's a good thought that you message me, but I don't want you to message me. I want you to like go to your family and explain to them, obviously, not just what really happened in the black community, but the Asian community as well, and the, other groups that's relevant in the UK. And so when maybe your dad, your mum, your brother, your sister, your friend, your neighbors, or whatever, go out, they don't think to the first thing as it's a racial thought. They think of them as like more of a person, in a sense. Because you see videos. Did you see that video on Twitter of that 60-year-old dad that got knocked down? A granddad.
no, I saw no. Oh, by the police. I saw.
It was like some old.
Like he was like 70 or something.
Yeah, but he's from the UK. It's not the one. He got punched up and then he like fell out the door.
Yeah.
The reason why that granddad or dad or whatever, 60, 70, got punched up and fell down because he was saying something racial. Now, if his grandson, his son, his brother, or someone close to him was able to kind of like speak to him about, this maybe these type of people, Asian people, black people, are not like what you think they are, you think he would have said that.
Yeah. I wanted to just to quickly interrupt before you continue, right? So, in terms of like, you said your friends message you actually prefer them to go out and tell their family about it, educate their friends. Like, what I think as well is, like, I feel like we were kind of wrong for drawing out people that didn't post on social media. Like, people started to delete their friends and, like, shame people and call people out, like, why are you not posting about this, blah, blah, blah. But the people that they're posting to, they already know about it. That's number one. And while we're getting too excited and we're getting too comfortable, these are not the majority. Like, we haven't reached the majority. We're not going to reach the majority just on social media. We have to actually go out and, like you said, like, tell your friends and family about it. Like, tell your mum. Your mum will tell her friends. Like, her friends will tell their friends. Tell your grandparents. She'll tell her. Like, that's what's more important, because I feel like we need to reach the older generation as well. Like, it's just going to keep circulating in the same circle of people. If you think that this person isn't doing anything just because they're not doing anything on social media, like...
Yeah. I'll say 2 points to that.
Yeah.
That's a Kanye West, because like, if they not doing anything on social media, there's actually been statements out that Kanye West has donated. I think like, I don't know if it was 2.5 million or 3 million or something like that to George Floyd daughter's foundation, or whoever the foundation is in his name, and obviously to like other like Black Lives Matter groups as well. So like, like you said, people can just be doing it, without just having a social media. And if Kanye West said something, we'd probably be like, no, not this guy again, or something like that. Yeah, but there's stories of him that he's a double agent. So like,
Really? Oh,
like,
my God.
He had to put the whether that called like Make America Great Again
MAGA.
Oh,
in
yeah.
order just to get an interview or meeting with Donald Trump, and then like three people, obviously like people are black, that's in the prison and stuff like that. Because obviously Donald Trump.
Man like Kanye, you know.
Yeah, I'll send you man like the link I saw on Twitter. It's mad. But the second point is, you know, when you talk about the older generation, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. That's I was about to say the exact same thing. Like
Me and Ben have conversations about this. Remember we
Yeah.
said like we will never ever reach the majority. Of
Never.
black people, never.
Yeah,
because
we won't,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter. It's same to our country. Like in America, like America's more different because they were brought over by force. The fact they don't have no African identity.
And they were like
No
forced to change their
connections.
name.
They don't know anything.
They changed their name for like you're forced to change their name to stop teaching about a tradition. So at some point that tradition is gonna get diluted to the point of 0%. So, but like when it comes to the older generation, I just personally that's why I've always said I don't spend my energy trying to educate because one, like you said, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and two, it's long. Why do I have to like why
Can't be bothered.
Why, I can't be bothered. Like why do I have to like
Because I feel like they're the ones that actually have power.
But that's the thing. Give it 10 years, they'll be dead. I'm sorry.
That's true. That's true. So basically, what you're saying, what you guys are saying is, let's just start and
Focus.
continue as we are going now. Yeah. Because for me, my view has always been like, I appreciate everything. Like I support the movement and everything, but I feel like people are not well informed. Like you see, like you know a lot. I've learned so much from you today. Like you know a lot. You guys know a lot, but a lot of people that are out there now, they think that they've changed the whole world.
Well, but it's good because like they have that kind of thrust to do something. Like I didn't end up going to the protest. But there's obviously like other ways that we can actually help spread the message as well. And it's like this here right now, this podcast itself. The way that they can actually put links into like each signed petition and stuff like that for everyone to actually come watch. There's so many plenty of ways, but the ones that are actually going out and protesting right now, like probably the most bravest ones, because they're actually. We've had so many protests, but something was a continuation for that whole week. It's definitely going to.
Yes, that's what. Yeah. So like I agree. Like I agree with the protest. I'm happy with people like sharing information, going out there. But my worry about people not being realistic about the impact of what we're doing is that they will think that we've done a lot and relax when. Do you get it? Like that's my worry because now people think that we're changing the whole world when we've just started. Like, so we need to be consistent. We need to continue. We need to keep protesting. We need to educate ourselves. We need to empower ourselves. And also, I'm worried as well that people think that this is all we have to do. So those two things, like we have to go on for longer, like you said, 10 years maybe. We have to keep protesting. With this protest, it's been going on for years and years and years. So we have to not relax. Just always keep going. Be realistic about the impacts. Like it's not, we've not touched the majority, and also the work that we have to do on ourselves as well. Because another thing is, black people, as we, even if we get our results today, we're able to change everybody's minds. We'll still go back home to face our problems. We feel inferior. We don't empower each other. There's divide between us. Like for example, I personally think that this protest, which I understand, like the whole point of it is to represent. It started off as a movement in America, and then it's spreading. But I feel like now some people might now think that it represents every black person in the world. Like we need to make it clear as well that okay, when we finish this fight, we have more fights to fight. Do you get it? Like we haven't finished all the work. It's a beginning, and I feel like. Yeah, it's raising people up. It's bringing awareness. People are aware, which I'm happy about. But so imagine if all the black people in Britain and America or in the Western part of the world, they get justice. They're accepted into society. They're being treated fairly, and like their life is good. Trust me. They'll forget about the ones in Asia. They'll forget about the black people in Africa. Nobody's talking about them. And this is, we're not representing them now. So that's why I just want people to know that this protest, that or whatever the movement at the moment, like it's all good. I support it. It's good, but we need to do more work. Like go and learn about yourself. Go and learn why you're actually supporting this. Go and learn the facts. Don't just rely on social media because you don't know how someone can just,
Like I've even seen some like maybe you know, this is how like some slimy people are really on Twitter as well. Like alright, so there must be a tweet about John Boyega, and like he must have put like something like his braids are growing, and it says like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thank the love of black women being able to get my hair longer. Obviously that's so cool, and then someone
Oh
must have
yeah, I
put,
saw that.
you saw that, didn't it?
What happened?
Someone must have retweeted and then said like, "Is that you? Like this you?" But with which is funny. The girl's
Yeah,
black.
a,
The
pic-
girl's
a picture of him.
What did she say?
A picture of him.
Yeah, she just said like this you, the person that retweeted John Boyega, and but with a picture of him around like a girl's arm, but the girl's black. But I think it's like she's light.
She's like racially, what do they call it? Racially ambiguous.
Yeah.
ambiguous. She's racially ambiguous.
Whoa.
So, and then, yeah,
There's nothing wrong with it at all, but like they're trying to start like the kind of beef about that.
saying that he's not genuine and
Yeah.
all that.
But the funny thing is about that. That's why obviously, like, you know, our communities, whether in the UK, America, France, or whatever, like we have our own issues to deal with. But there are some like, I'm not gonna say theories. This can really or truly be like something happening. But there are the most time of it maybe like Caucasian males. But when I say Caucasian, I never really mean like the ones that are just cool and stuff like that. I really mean like the ones that set a gender against us, that pose as black girls. Because they know there's obviously sometimes a bit of
Well, like agent, what's it called? Agent provocateurs kind of people.
What's-
So they pose as black girls on Twitter because they know sometimes there can be a disconnect
Blackfishing.
between black girls and black guys as well, and they use that, they tag that, and they try to make it sound like, oh, you guys, black men never care about black women, never do all that, and that's what they did in that retweet of John Boyega's picture. Those are not black people.
Was that been proven? Was that been proven?
Wow.
What's it again?
Has that been proven that the
No,
one
because that picture that's the tweet I was talking about, I went onto the media and actually looked at it. There ain't no pictures of no black women.
really?
Wow. You see, and now,
Oh,
so you see what you
I
said.
never-
So
oh,
you
wow.
went to check and you went to do a little bit more
A bit
research.
more
Whereas
research.
some
Just
people
pick that
will
and
just
run.
pick that up and they'll literally swear by it. So that's my worry. Like people are not doing enough research. They're just
also-
buying anything.
And also, this is where I feel like it's gonna get techie. And okay, so we understand white privilege, right? And the reason why we're saying are white people because they're privileged, and you need to, well, kind of drop your privilege, right, and make it a fair, equal chance that white people, like, even though they're not racist, but you're gaining from the system that obviously what's the word marginalizes black people, and you're gaining from that system. Okay, so with that being said, if let's say, oh wow, if this movement does the job, and like Pelumi said, black people are accepted in society, in the Western society, it gets techie. I want to even it gets techie is the fact that we have to. I'm sure we have to understand. We all know, at least in this room, that the Western society thrives and survives off the back of Africa.
Yeah. And you
So
see, Ben, what
now-
you're saying now, what you're saying now, many black people don't know that, for example. Do you get it? Like they think that like we're not really claiming all the things that we should be claiming. The people they don't know enough. They don't know that these people, their wealth now is still being sustained by what they're getting from Africa. Do you get it? Yeah, so they don't know that. So sorry, just to
it's
add
fine.
that, like, so that's what, yeah.
That's fine. So the point is, it gets tricky. Okay, when is it gonna get accepted by that society? That is, are you now as a black person? Because technically, then if I'm a Pan Africanist, then you're kind of against me now. Because guess what? You are benefiting from the system that's oppressing my people.
Yeah. The thing is,
Do you get my point?
yeah,
So
it's like celebrity that's and stuff out, but like what they can do is like exactly what they can give back to the communities as well, because they know that the money they made, that's been been again like from benefiting from like our ancestors many years ago
Until today.
What they can do, especially, that's the thing I have sometimes against like celebrities, but Stormzy is such a good example, Dave is such a good example, other American celebrities and rappers, maybe like Lil Baby, Dave Chappelle and whatnot, they give back way too much money into the community, which is such a fantastic thing to do, because they know that they've made them enough money, and they want the other, obviously, people that's indiscriminated and don't have any social justice to also have some money to come back, maybe build schools, maybe build community centers. Now, even like obviously coming back from your point, like one of the worst things about it, like those people, like you said Pan-African, isn't it?
yeah,
So there's like rappers as well, like in America. So I'm not gonna relate it too much in the UK, but like there's rappers in America where or even influencers, black influencers, where that they're afraid to say something because of the Black Lives Matter protest, what's happening, and because their, let's say, their sponsors, Boohoo, Pretty Little Thing,
Get out,
stuff like that, all them kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Because they might pull the plug.
Yeah,
and that's what they were
that's
saying.
fine.
but do you know what? This is what we're saying. Earlier. This is one thing that
How many
going back
endorsements
to-
has Jackie Aina probably lost? Do you know?
going-
Do you know who she is? Jackie Aina. She's an American influencer, but she's amazing.
Going model.
She's black. She started off. Started off doing YouTube, like just but she really
she's cool.
stands for.
Like going back to what you were saying about drawing people out to earlier, what we were talking about earlier, and what did I even just say? I just but now going back to you said about drawing white people out, whenever they don't do something, and what we were talking about earlier about also as black people, we have to be careful in terms of drawing out celebrities. Yeah, because Dr. Umar Johnson said something like in one of his interviews. Do you know him, right? Dr. Umar Johnson. I love that. I love that guy. The more before I used to be like, come on, bro, like he's too much. But the more I listen to him and the more I start, he's on job. And he said something that is so I agree 100%. He said, look, I don't need Jay-Z or I don't need who else, PDD coming out and marching with me. I don't need them standing in the front line. No, what I need them to do is to fund the match, to fund the movement. Because guess what? If you're drawing out all these people and they end up losing the sponsorship, end up losing the money, they can't end up funding. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, for example, like if Kanye, for example, if that whole thing was true, that he's giving 3.5 million to the cause,
that's true.
If he's lost his sponsorship and all that because if he was standing for the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Would he be able to do that?
But to be fair, he just broke into the billionaire bracket just recently.
I know, but I'm just saying, if he was always been on job and always been since, Tamir Rice, going all the way back, he's always been on job and always...
Because then there's a reason why people like them, like Lauryn Hill, like, and what's her name, Erica Badu, there's a reason why their success is limited as well, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at what's it called?
They really preach about these things.
Kaepernick, right?
Yeah.
He's lost his job. He's not. Like I'm saying, so if there are certain people that I do not expect you, even back in the day in the civil rights movement, there were businessmen who never went to march, never went to, you would never see them in any picture with MLK. But guess what? They were the people that funded that. MLK wasn't rich. That's one thing. We think that MLK was this billionaire or something. He was not a rich man.
He was just the movement was still movement.
Very funded by who? Black businessmen.
You're right.
So there are certain people that I do not, provided I know that you are for the cause. You have to find a way to let us know. So we don't.
Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Find a way to let us know.
Not
you
that
can't keep quiet.
You can't. That's what I was going to say. Like, everybody needs to know.
Retweet.
People need to know.
Tell your sister to tell us.
Oh my god! Yeah, literally, like write me a note, or let's just have a code, a sign, or something.
If it's like a. Don't wait to let us know. But true. I don't need you to be like. I don't need Anthony Joshua to coming out in Watford and saying support black businesses. John Boyega, for example, I know it's good, it's powerful, it's all well. I understand the impact it makes if you guys have that platform, you're using more people. I understand that. You get what I'm saying? But my point is, I don't need every one of them to do so.
Because there are things that won't get done.
There are things that will not get done. Because this whole thing, yes, it's all well and good. But guess what? We're thinking that we could change these people's mind because of we're screaming at them. No, we can change their mind through economically. Either because we're able to support our own self, that we don't need them anymore, and their value starts to decrease.
Yep.
It brings us back to like, remember the time you said on Twitter, like the 1920s? I don't know if I got it exactly right. Well, but the Black Wall Street.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Either it brings us to that point, but the only time they care, do you think the reason why Amazon and all these people are putting Black Lives Matter, do you think they care?
They don't care.
No, because they know that they'll benefit from it.
Yes, it's a
because
marketing
it's a market-
tool.
especially now
technique.
recently,
Especially now,
Everybody,
exactly.
everyone's doing
look at,
it.
CrossFit. I don't know if you saw the thing about
what
them.
they put?
CrossFit, like one of the biggest CrossFit. I think it's in UK. I don't know if it's that world, but anyway, during the whole thing, they didn't say nothing. They literally kept quiet. They didn't even post nothing, just posting the irrelevant thing. And people are like, that's weird. But anyway, cool. And then there's a post someone said about I think something like the protests or something like racism, like a mental like illness or something like that. And the CEO of CrossFit said that's Floyd 19, Judge Floyd 19, like a play on COVID-19, and people were like, what? Like, you're taking the piss, like what are you doing? And they got cancelled. Reebok pulled their sponsorship. Rogue on Fitness, like one of the biggest gyms, pulled their sponsorship.
He actually said, a big man himself like that said that.
CEO, he retweeted and like, you know how you quote retweet? He tweeted and said Floyd is the Floyd 19 disease or something like that. And a lot of people just pulled like literally
sponsorship.
I think they lost like over 1,000 sponsors in a week or something.
Good.
It was mad. And now the guy then said like, I didn't know it was a job.
Yeah, now you know.
But anyway, my point is, look, it's I just want to go back to the thing is I don't need all my brothers and sisters who are businessmen and women to come in the front line. Even back in the day, even in the wartime in general, like it's not even the generals don't go to war.
That's so fucking true. That's actually right.
The people that strategize, that send people that don't go to war, they sit back. You might call them lazy, no, but they're important too.
No,
Sit back and plot and I don't mind being the person in the front line, but if you're a businessman, and you have, you're just I would if you come, I'll slap you and tell you to go back home, bro.
Because don't put yourself at risk.
You get what I'm saying? Because guess what? If I die, okay, someone else can take my place. If you die, we've just lost $1 billion.
People are gonna come for you for this statement,
or like 100.
People are coming for Ben. Because you're basically saying that person's life is more valuable.
I wouldn't put it like...
It's not... I mean, it's not even about more valuable. It's just...
It's bringing them more. It's just doing more for the movement.
Look, exactly. Like, look, I'm
mobilizing.
I'm not trying to... Look, at the end of the day, yeah, which goes back to our point of this whole racism thing is distraction from classism. Look, in this world, the main thing that matters, and I'm a Christian and I know... But the main thing that matters is money. And money equals power. And if you don't have either, it's peak.
African Americans think that black Africans are inferior to
You know what I'm
them.
saying?
Like, do you know what I mean? If we were to put them, let's just do like a experiment and put like white people, African Americans and Africans in one little town for like a year and obviously give them money, like more white people more money, African American a bit less, and then Africans like less, or however way it goes, like it will still you might still see the same things come to play, right?
But there's like obviously such as like maybe like the white Americans have probably got like more sense of actually it's not sense of making money because that's completely wrong. They're more, again, I don't want to say dirty-handed, but I'm gonna just say slimy in terms of actually kind of like being able to get their money up quicker.
Because they don't, like they're more desperate if we look at it. Like in Africa, we've got everything. In Asia, they've got quite a lot. Like if you cut Africa off from the rest of the world, we would be fine. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you cut Europe out of the world, they would be fucked. Like so they're desperate. You know, like when you don't have anything, like your motivation to survive is higher. Like, you get it? Like, you have more reasons to fight. Like, you're scared. Like,
that's why Europeans conquered the whole majority of the world. I mean, and it's all come from this little island.
The hunger.
Yeah, the island. The hunger, Britain itself, Scandinavian countries, France, all these explorers like Christopher Columbus and whatnot, they know that if they set...
Because why are they going out to, like, really... What are they looking for if you've got everything?
All the way to America, going all the way to Canada, going all the way to flipping Mexico and stuff like that. They knew that if they set pace now, discover how to travel using via boats and ships and whatnot, they know that they can set up, like, the world again for, like, many thousands of years later. Like you just said, like, you know, the experiment, if you put those three groups into it, It's like African Americans are strong. Africans are very strong as well. And now it comes into the Caucasian as well. Those the hunger for money, the hunger for the greed itself, the American dream. Like that itself is just literally a title of just being able to get that money in any means necessary. And you know when I say shit like slimy, I mean like Young Thug said something about that. There's like what slimy means because sometimes I listen to, but I love him in it, man. But sometimes I listen to his bar and his bars himself, like in his raps, he says shit like, "Me and my niggas gonna really do some slimy shit," and that means like you know, excuse my French, but like fucking fuck over your friend and fuck his baby mama or some shit like that. That's like in order to get to the bag, you know what I mean? Like you gotta really be able to kind of like do some shit that's really bad, but you know, do you really look past it? Fuck no. And then you get into the goal and stuff like that. And unfortunately, that's kind of like the way GTA kind of lifestyle, you know what I mean?
Basically.
Yeah, but like again, with them, like again, like when I generalize and I say maybe like Caucasian, I don't obviously just mean Caucasians because it's not them. There's a lot of people that are fighting the fight with us. Obviously, they got to do their part. We got to do our part. One of the things is, again, we bring it back to elitism. It's just that they, like Ben said, like it's a classification about them. It's always the middle class earners, sorry, middle class income and higher class incomes and the elitism as well. They're all in conjunction with each other. Now, what we can do is white, black, Asian, is that we all got to be able to come together and understand who's been victimized the most. That we've all been under the oppressor of the elitist system, isn't it? Let's put it like this, yeah. You know, them ones where you just got set up.
Yeah.
This was maybe like a couple months back when COVID-19 was actually like getting really big as well, isn't it? Private school kids and state school kids. Guess which group is going back to school first? That's the video.
Private, probably.
Nope.
State.
Now, private school kids, majority of the times, what do you think their dad's jobs are?
Very rich.
And MPs. So would you think an MP would risk their child going back to a state school that doesn't have maybe the finances to put measures in place for COVID-19? Fuck no. But the same people that might be low-class income workers and working-class income workers will be voting for Conservatives. Now, I'm not saying Labour is the choice. I'm saying it's maybe you do your research and you find out maybe a smaller party that you consider a waste vote. And if their goals align with you, you vote for them. So bringing that back again to elitism, is what I literally said. Now, if obviously all the races in Britain, so the most apparent ones, obviously within Asia, you got your India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, black, Africans, Caribbeans, white people as well. So not even just Eastern Europeans, but like British natives and whatnot. So if you have all of these groups to come together and then we actually kind of figure out, again, like what I was bringing back, like the common enemy, which is the elite government, the system that is opposed to us. If we come together and join forces, can crush them. We are the people. We have the power. You know what I'm trying to say? We are the ones.
At that point, if we can come together.
We can scrutinize. Look at France, when flipping government official comes in and they don't really like what they're doing, we scrutinize them. What in the UK, you have shadow ministers, right? So you have like Priya Patel. She is Home Secretary.
Yeah, Home Secretary.
So
she's wild.
Well, she's wild, isn't it? So she'll have like a Labour shadow minister, isn't it?
Yeah.
That Labour shadow minister will scrutinise her any chance that they can do, innit? Why can we not do the exact same job? We already cuss her on social media, but do you think she's
That's
really,
basically what we're doing.
But do you think she's checking her social media there?
No, she don't care.
That's why the protest is happening in Parliamentary Square or like wherever the office is, number 10 Downing Street that she may be. If she can hear the chant saying like, look, what you're doing right now is fucked up and we want change, we're going to scrutinise them from fucking morning comes, day and night. No Kid Cudi song. The fuck you mean? We literally going to let her know that we're upset about this. Same thing about Boris Johnson. We got to let these motherfuckers know that what you're doing, you're fucking up.
They don't care.
Literally.
They still don't care now.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, I'm going to put it, this is really like interesting point. Like I was talking to like a couple of my brothers as well. When you have like terms of like, again, maybe like black and Asian as well, when they get into a position of power, so they could be an example of maybe like the black version of a government minister like Peter Patel or Vicky Sunak and stuff like that. Is that, do you think they're still as like again, I'm gonna try not obviously be too like sensitive or whatnot in it, but like, do you think she still has the cultural background?
No,
of where
she sold her soul. Before you even, I knew that was the question. I was ready. My answer was ready.
Literally ready.
This woman said that she'll basically deport her parents. Like, no,
God
okay, with the things that
damn,
she's saying, people basically assessed. She didn't
Yeah.
directly say
Oh,
it. So
yeah,
people
yeah,
were
yeah.
like, okay, wait, let's just assess what you just said now, and let's just see how your parents came in. They wouldn't have made it. You wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
So that means you would send your family back. Like, you would send your family member back. Like, who are you fighting for? You're there first. Like, you're an Asian woman. Like, what culture? Like, look at the color of your skin. Like, there's no way
You're
on
fighting
earth.
for the oppressor. You know what I mean? There are so many, especially like in
Like,
London, Asian brothers are united with black brothers as well because of the community that we were raised up and stuff like that. I don't have to, what's it called?
Sorry. Let me just.
I don't know. Say it first.
Guys,
one of one thing we haven't addressed yet, is the racism towards black people from the Asian community.
Oh, yeah,
that's
true.
there
Yeah,
as well.
That's there.
Like when I'm in Asian, talking like Indians, Bangladeshi, like even though the young ones, for the lack of a better word, are kind of jacking our style, and the things that we do, and but the older ones, like I've worked in like Asian weddings and things like that, and the way like
They have the
way-
caste
yeah.
system in
like
Asia
that,
as well,
and
don't
like
they?
what do they even call us again? Dudu or something.
Like certain, they got like a certain
They
word.
have like a word for
categorize
black
us,
people.
Then
you
we're
know.
coming. We're coming. For
And the
them
thing
too,
is,
then.
so it's that's what I'm just as a conversation we don't have. Yes, the young ones might be, but what they're teaching them. I remember, oh God, I remember I used to be so stupid. I remember an ex telling me, you're good looking for a black guy,
What?
and yeah, she was
Wait.
Asian.
Well, she said she'd never go for black guys.
Yeah,
Really? Oh,
yeah. I know.
No,
Even
that's of course. It's happened to me as well.
and it's not even like, and it's not even like, because again, I don't mind people. I don't mind preference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
I don't mind preferences. Like, you can do what you want to do, but if the preference is based on the fact that the one that you're not going for is
The skin
inherently
different, the culture's
ugly, then that's a bit of a mad one. But anyway,
obviously coming like to that point now, this is one thing that I've had in practice, like talking to like a couple of my brothers, because like my close circle obviously is predominantly black, but I've got like quite a few like Asian brothers that I chat to on the regular, and especially like different religions as well, whether Christianity, Islam, and there's only one that's like agnostic / atheist and stuff like that. So like we'll convert that brother soon. We're coming for it. But yeah, so like in that kind of sense, obviously, one thing is that we have to, for us to be able to kind of like overthrow the systematic elitism that's within this country, that's within America, that's within any kind of country, is that you have to be able to unite its people. Now, I'm talking for the people of Asia, Hispanic, as well as like black people, is that a minority to another minority cannot be racist, but you can be fucking prejudiced. You can be insensitive. You can say a lot of shit that just quickly that you think, without thinking as well. It's very prejudiced, but we can't be racist. Now, racism obviously exists for like a system that believes that their race is superior. You know what I mean? And obviously in Western countries, that's obviously mostly Caucasian people as well. And I said already, like you take us away, classism and stuff like that. But the only reason that we need to know is that obviously the older minorities is that we're all oppressed by the majority. We all have to come together. But that can only work if you understand which race has been victimized the most. And that is black people.
Yeah.
Africans.
Because now,
Caribbeans.
what a lot of people are saying is, what about these group of people? They're not complaining. Why aren't the Asians complaining? The Asians get it too. Like, some people were saying that, or like people, Toby and I were saying as well, like some people were like, oh, what about the Irish people? And it's like, these people, you're not like, it's either you're not getting oppressed anymore, or just, if we compare it, black people are just getting it the worst. So if people can just come together, like you said, and agree that, okay, let's fight for black people and let's just sort these things out.
Because, like, obviously, going to your point, like, Irish, Italians. Now, obviously, Italians have like a quite nasty reputation. I'm not going to say every Italian, but from what we've seen, like when Mario Balotelli is playing in the Serie A league, from Romelu Lukaku playing in the Serie A league, what you do to black players, again, that's quite crazy.
Oh,
But the funny thing is, when they went to America in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and they went to New York, they were getting abuse again from like white Americans because even though they were white, but they weren't their white.
You're not pure,
but
for them, or pure enough or whatever.
Exactly. Funny thing is when black people were introduced and whatnot to when we come into the picture, now they kind of like body join hands.
They're like, oh no, we've got one that's worse.
Yeah.
Like we've got that's how it is. Like,
But the maddest thing is just obviously is that bringing back to your point, like how like some of the races, maybe like Asian, Hispanic, saying like, what about us? The thing is, my brothers, especially, I put an example. I got like a couple Sikh friends as well. Is that whenever they post something about, such as like, the Sikh genocide in 1984, what they I believe is the Hindus. If I'm wrong, please don't ridicule me in the comment section in it. But like, I think it's the Hindus.
I saw a lot of that recently.
Is there?
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing about that's happened to the Black Lives Matter is that not only that I've become aware about my own race, but I've become aware of other races and other what's it called? Social injustice happening to other minority groups. This is the fight that we have to all fight together. How am I able to learn about like what the Sikh people have gone through, and to the point that the population might be less than 5%? Is it? Again, I'm not really too sure about the actual statistics. In India, one of the biggest countries as well. Again, like the fight between Palestine and Israel. What Israel's completely doing to Palestine, Syria as well. Do you know how fucked up all that shit? The thing is that, again, other ethnic groups as well, that if you share your problems within on social media of actual social injustice coming along, by God's grace, I'm going to be sharing it as well. All my other people that may, again, like you would be sharing it, you'd be sharing it. It's a chain effect. You voice your opinion, I'm going to voice my opinion alongside with you. And the same thing, if I voice my opinion that's happening with anything about Black Lives Matter, how I feel like I'm being racially profiled or just being treated fairly against, like maybe it's just a system that I can't win against, and you stand beside me, you think this is the fight just literally just black and white? It's not black and white. It's black versus a system that is so corrupt that wants to see the destruction of us. And anyone of a different culture that joins that system, they are no longer of that culture.
Yeah.
No longer that culture. Whether you may be black, whether you may be Asian, whether you be Hispanic, you are not of that culture because you sold yourself away. Like, for you to be within the conservatives, and this is why I really wish it was never in government, you got to sell your fucking soul. You got to be something that you...
No, I don't think so. If you support or if you
I'm talking
run
in the party.
Oh
like
yeah,
in the actual party.
if you run and you full on run and commit yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
no, if you're voting about it, unfortunately, you're just ignorant or just informed, or you've got the money to do so.
No, or maybe the information that you have is just different. Like
no, because the thing is,
or
like,
maybe what you hold value, what you think is valuable, is just different.
Yeah, because honestly, as in
that's
America,
how they catch people.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
in America. If you're a black businessman, you're better off voting for conservative. Sorry, for the Republican.
any black person, any business person, black, Asian, white, whatever. They're more likely to vote conservative.
How do you need to put your business in front of your people? That's another question.
Because if you were in that position, you would probably vote that. Let's be honest.
For me personally,
there's a 50-50 chance. Okay, let me say. Because the information available to you at that point, when you reach that level, the type of people that will be around you, the type of information that will...
I understand that. 100%.
You get it? Like, so
especially if you're like a very, very big business, I get that as well. But now if you're just like a startup business or you've done your successful first year, second year, third year, you're in your fifth year, your fifth year operating and stuff like that, and now you're kind of thinking like in 5 years now operating, and now you kind of think like, okay, cool. It comes to the decision that it's now the general election.
Guys, 2 more minutes. Yeah, go on.
What time is it? It's 1 hour.
It's almost 12:30,
Look,
1:30.
Quick one. Yeah. Do you know the most annoying group of people are liberals?
Yeah.
Do you know why I say that? Because liberals, especially white liberals, that's why I believe the left is bad for black people, especially in America, is that liberals are... I'd rather a racist that called me a nigga and all that, because guess what? It stems from insecurity, and you feel threatened by me. You understand my strength. You know my power, my strength. So if you're threatened by me, so for that to make yourself feel better, you want to call me all these words and you want to belittle me and hold me down because you know that if you let me up, I will
rise to the occasion.
I will rise to the occasion and I will be better than you. Then liberals are like, oh, let me help you out because they inherently they know that they're superior. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, cause like people that they are threatened. It's like it's better.
They
it's
won't
like,
provide opportunities to
it's
you.
for example-
They're handing it down to you.
It's for example.
That's my problem with the left.
It's
to
like
be honest
for
as
example,
well.
like look at this here. Two people, a grown man, right? If a grown man come at me and try to attack me, I'll be like, whoa, I'll try and find my ways to, you get what I'm saying?
Swing with the left.
Swing back. But if a child comes to me and attacking me, I'm like, oh,
Kick that.
Cute.
cute. You know? I'm like, oh, you get what I'm saying? Oh, it's not your fault, you get what I'm saying? Liberals have this entitlement.
Oh, what equality, punishment, equality.
Not even that.
everything.
It's like, oh, because you guys are going through a lot, and I don't even have to explain. I feel like I'm. It seems like I'm complaining, but it's like they have this sense.
They're enablers.
You get what I'm saying? And that, and also it's like this, like, oh, let me help you out because I know that I'm better than at least people that are. I don't know. You know, I feel like I'm. Carry on. Let me fight. If I
I think I get what he
I would-
means.
I would-
He means. I think he means that. Just the last point. Yeah. I think he means that the liberals, they will look down to you and hand you bits, like little bits. Like they're not really trying to bring you up to the level.
It's a glass ceiling.
That's I feel like that's what to a certain extent. I don't support everything Conservative does. I don't support everything Labour does. I don't hate everything Conservative does, and I don't hate everything Labour does. But I feel like that's kind of what Labour does as well. They're not bringing everybody up to par. They're enabling people to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they kind of try to attract the people that are. I don't know why are they always winning votes by saying they're gonna give free things away. They don't tell you how they're gonna gain the free things. They don't tell you the repercussions of like. Do you know what I mean? And the fact is, if you look at the Labour governments from the past, they never did what they were gonna say. It just in general, every government is shit. Like I don't stand fully on one side, but I just feel like maybe let's just look
Maybe
into.
nonetheless, like maybe it's time for us that maybe as the generation of us now, maybe
Black National Party,
say that.
BNP, change it.
But the thing is, if that obviously, in a serious note, like, I feel like the one place, even though it's still hella corrupt, but the intention, the one place that I would say that Africa has a better intention than the Western world is the whole, in a Nigerian way, anyone could start a party. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel like you can hear, but it's like, it's a bit.
Yeah, it's because you don't get.
It's been established.
What I'm saying, yeah,
it's like you're wasting your time.
Because in America, you run a party, then it's easy. No, but it's a what's it called, campaign?
Yeah. So it's like here when there's in a place when there's more choice, because then I don't have to, because like you said, Democrats or even Labour Party, yes, I might agree with somebody in things that I don't agree with, and just because like I don't want to support the other one, I just force myself to vote for this person. I have to vote for this.
I think you should. I think
if there was more if there were more options and more parties that have been pushed, then yeah, maybe I'm like, oh, okay.
I wouldn't mind if it'd be a wasted vote to a party that I feel like they could actually change the
exactly
system,
100%. But anyway,
yeah, it's just I think since half
an hour. Guys, we're kind of late because we're supposed to leave between 12 and 1, and it's 1:30, so...
Where do you guys need to go now?
We'll need to go to Sainsbury's, and then we'll go into Surrey.
Oh, shit. Hey.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's wrap it up there.
It's not too far.
My mum works in... I was talking to Toby. My mum works in Surrey. She goes there like 2-hour drive, but that's like fucking...
During traffic.
Yeah.
Where in Surrey does she work?
Fimley, the Fimley Hospital. The one I'm talking about. So it's like not Guildford, but it's like,
yeah, that's far.
Yeah,
that's far.
So should we finish up?
Yeah, like I don't. If you guys want to continue,
we can, remember do we do like a 4-part special thing, or should we just do like another one next week? 4-part special. No, obviously we're not gonna be that long, but we can do like maybe part 2, something like that. next week until that, and we'll just like continue on from there. Because I think we've touched something about the government. So I think that'll be
that's going to be an interesting. But one question like that, I just wanted to ask, like that you can just post on social media just to spark conversations for next time, or just get people's opinions or questions. Is that like, if this was a different race, if the Asian people were in our position, will we have the same energy? Like, that's just the question I wanted to ask. And like, do we have the same energy towards like Syria and other injustices in the world? So
it's human nature just to turn a blind eye for a lot of things. So when
Yeah.
it comes down, like as a race itself, it's tricky to say that. But like as a person, it just depends what kind of human you are. If you really hate, and I'm talking, you don't have to wait for someone to convince you to do this. If you really hate seeing someone suffering, then there's going to be that innate drive for you to actually go out and help. Like, not everyone's born a doctor or a nurse. You have to be a doctor or a nurse, you got to like helping people.
Yeah.
And if you don't like helping people, but you want to be a nurse for the bags, you end up killing someone.
Yeah, that's true. But let's see what people have to say, because I feel like people won't have the same energy. Like, for different, if it was a different cause.
It's the fact that why do I have to go? Like, thank God that obviously my friends and the people I close side with, that you think I had to tell them about this is what's happening? No.
Yeah,
They
that's
knew
true.
from
My
the get-go
actual
who did that.
friends, like
The people itself is taking.
my actual friends, my good friends, like they actually care about the cause, because they're reasonable.
And they know
people.
that if they're going through something, if I knew people like in Hong Kong and stuff like that was going through the riots against, because China is trying to come in
to take over
all that shit. And if I had any like Hong Kong friends, actually I might do actually. I was actually remember Tiger. You know Tiger? Yeah. I'm trying to remember if he's from Hong Kong, if he's from fucking no, he's not Chinese. No, he is from Hong Kong. Yeah, there's stuff like that. Like the way he's obviously well, to be fair, he's never really told me about it, but just like when you see that kind of shit and you kind of think like, you got any family members there? Like imagine like your marge, your auntie, your dad,
your grandparents.
stuff like that. All his family is here in the UK, luckily, but like again, like maybe grandparents and stuff like that, man. Like you think to yourself, fuck, just to be in that kind of system where some other country, their system just comes in and tries to fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Man, fuck all that, man. You got to support love, man. What the hell?
China's gonna be the next Britain.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do. Well, thank you guys.
Tune in next time.
See you next time.